Tell you what, how many times I talk about this, too? Made in America.
Every day.
Made in America. How many times, Frank?
Every day.
Times? How many times do I talk about made in America? Come on. When is someone going to wake up and say, let's do manufacturing? You know, you hear it from Senator Santorum, who calls the show, manufacturing, for crying out loud. Bring the jobs to Ferguson, Missouri, and or to other inner cities, and there won't be problems. This is my humble opinion. So we asked Todd Lipscomb, author of the book Remade in the USA, founder of the website madeinusaforever.com. Hey, Todd, welcome to the show.
Joe, it's really an honor to be on your show this morning.
Thank you, man. You know what? I love what you're doing. I've been railing about this, and I don't understand why there aren't more people taking this lead that you've done. Tell us exactly what you're talking about in your book, Remade in the USA.
Well, Joe, I worked in Asia for an American company for over 7 years, and I just saw it all, and I couldn't believe what was going on, especially at the subcontractor level, and that China just wants to be the next superpower, and they're absorbing our factories on purpose. Plus, as you just mentioned, it's costing us millions of good jobs, good middle-class jobs.
And it creates community, does it not, Todd?
Absolutely. So, yeah, we've got to support our nation. When I got back to the States, I quit my executive role at a tech company, and I founded madeinusaforever.com with my own resources in order to give these small manufacturers a chance. You know, they can't even get on the shelves at some of these big retailers.
What, over in China, you mean?
Actually, the American yes, exactly. But even here, it's difficult for them because, they're a little bit more expensive. The quality is much, much higher. Yet they're made by our people paying taxes here. So some of these retailers would prefer cheaper made, chintzy items from abroad because people have to replace them more often. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. And you know what really is upsetting as well? When I try to buy American cars, but they're made, the most of the parts of the American cars are made in China. Am I right?
Oh, I know, Joe. You really have to be careful on that. You can find some higher content USA-made cars, but you really have to look and be careful.
So how do you do it, Todd? Because when I talk to my billionaire buddies, and I go, why don't you – and this is my theory of keeping crime down, keeping taxes down,
Absolutely.
Creating community. If you walked in, you talk with the unions, Todd. You talk with the unions. You say, let's work together. You go to a CEO. If Apple could make $1 billion, a billion with a B, a week, $1 billion a week, and they build everything in China, can't you just say, well, all right, look, I'll make a little less. I'll make $800 million a week, and we'll make a nice plant in Arkansas or make a nice plant in the south side of Chicago. How great would that be?
I know we really have to get these CEOs on board, but I knew many of them myself, too. And a lot of them, especially in the tech industry, were very concerned about their bonus or, what's going on with the margin. And they didn't want to show Wall Street any weakness, So it was all about getting as much as they possibly could out of the manufacturing systems, which unfortunately often meant moving stuff abroad. There are some plants here, though. I mean, companies like Intel have invested quite a bit here. But we need to do a lot more. We need to push every single one of these companies. I found, we've got over 700 American manufacturers on this website now, and 95% of them, Joe, are small family-owned businesses.
Yes,
they're the ones that haven't given up on our people.
Right.
And, one of my best ones is from Hazelwood, Missouri. Just this can opener guy. He's making it's under $10, made in America with American steel. Ferguson is right next to Hazelwood. Here he is employing people in the next town over. Imagine what would happen if we had 100 more of those, or 500 or 1,000 of these guys employing real Americans, getting these kids off the street instead of causing trouble. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. And we talked to our friend Mike Lindell from MyPillow, for example. He makes it in America, and
Fantastic.
But he could ship it off. He could ship it out, but he keeps it in America. He keeps the jobs, making them right there in the USA. And I really think that's what we need. But why don't we hear, from the Democrats? Isn't it the working man's party? Why don't we hear from the politicians this plan? Are they bought and sold by these big companies? I imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to get anything besides talk out of Washington. I mean, every time there's an election, they start talking about Made in USA again. But then, they try to pass another free trade deal. Like they did this Korean free trade deal. They said it was going to create tens of billions of dollars worth of jobs here.
Right.
And, of course, it didn't. I mean, it was another big disaster. All of these free trade deals short the USA. it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
You know what? And we talked to good folks that come on the show, like from Fox Business, whether it's Neil Cavuto, Charles Payne from Fox Business, and they gave me, actually Charles Payne, I think, came up with the idea of us doing a free enterprise zone, not unlike what the late, great Jack Kemp said. He came in, you do an enterprise zone, and I would love to see. So maybe we should stay in touch, Todd, because, and again, we're talking with Todd Lipscomb, author of the book Remade in the USA, and this is a pet peeve of mine, to make more products here, to just bring, not so much smart jobs, but just jobs to the inner cities. And Todd is the founder of the website MadeInUSAForever.com. We want everybody to check that out and to patronize all the businesses on that site. And maybe, Todd, you give us some ideas where we could go throughout the state of New Jersey. But, okay, Frank's giving me the evil eye. In Staten Island, too, where we could put some jobs in there. But particularly in the inner cities of Jersey, wouldn't that be good? All the violence in Newark, I'm thinking it would be great if you had jobs and you can make it amenable, to a company coming in. You got to give tax. You got to give tax breaks to these companies, correct?
Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. And you see it every time you're involved with this Big Brother work that you do, right? I mean, they've got, what choice do they have if they grow up and they can't possibly get a job? So we need to have jobs.
That's exactly right. And you will break that cyclical violence and everything else in the inner cities. Hey, Todd, very interesting. God bless you for what you're doing. Let's stay in touch. Keep us posted. And, email us anytime, any ideas that we could do to really make this a reality throughout the United States.
Thank you, Joe. You're the best.
Okay, man. Todd Lipscomb right there, author of the book Remade in America. You can go to the website MadeInUSAForever.com. Love that.